All right, YouTube fans, so today we're going to be talking about exactly how to build your chest. I get a lot of questions on this. How to build your chest, how do you grow your chest, how do you grow your outer lower chest, how do you grow your upper chest. So I'm going to get right into that today. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. So let's get right into it. So for me personally, I used to have a buried chest. People used to roast me in class. I know that shit's hard to believe, but I'm going to show you guys a picture right here. But now when I go to the gym, take my shirt off, you feel me? Or I just take my pump cover off, people are like, dude, how do you build your chest? How do you build your chest? I was even walking back from a workout, bro. I'm wearing a long sleeve, that was a tight long sleeve. I was walking back from a workout, right? You guys know I'm in Thailand. I was walking back from a workout, and some old guy, right? I had my headphones on. Some old guy was like, oh, and I was like, oh shit. It was like, well, he's like, good. So like, what got me to the point of having a buried chest, you know, skinny chest, people roast me, to the point of having a chest, you know, that I'm proud of. Now, still not as good as my homeboys' chest and shit like that. They, you know, they got better chest genetics, I would say. But if you follow these rules, you'll definitely, you know, get the chest that you're looking for. So the first thing, and one of the most important things, is to notice the difference between strength and aesthetics. All right, so for me personally, I believed that if you got to 405 on bench, you would have the greatest chest in American history. So I got to 405 on bench. I did not have the greatest chest in American history. So I was like, what the fuck is going on? That's when I realized that, of course, rep ranges matter. The way you hit your chest matters. How it feels matters. And exercise selection matters, right? So just know that strength and aesthetics are not the same thing, guys. I think a lot of people get that confused. You do want to progressively overload, of course, when you're lifting weights. But strength isn't everything. You also want to be in the hypertrophy rep ranges. All right, so let's get right into the first thing, and that's going to be exercise selection. So obviously, like I said, I got to 4 or 5 on flat bench. So I was doing a lot of flat bench and shit like that. That shit really doesn't matter as far as building your chest, right? The most important exercises, in my opinion, to build your chest are going to be incline Smith machine, incline dumbbell, incline barbell, and then if you have like hammer strength machines, the regular hammer strength machines and the incline hammer strength machines, and then the flat dumbbell bench gives you really good range of motion. If you have any flat dumbbell bench machines or flat press machines as well, those are really, really good, especially if they're hammer strength. So those are some of the best movements you want to use. And what I used to do to gain strength when I was doing the 405 bench and shit like that was do 3 sets, or do 3 to 6 reps per set, which is the strength rep range. That's not the hypertrophy rep range, which is why I wasn't building, you know, as much muscle as I could. So for the incline Smith, the incline dumbbell, I generally keep the reps somewhere in between 6 to 15, right? Make sure the weight is challenging for me. So for example, if you're doing 3 sets of like 8 to 10, as long as all 3 sets are challenging for you, but not so challenging that you ego lift, but not so easy that you get the last set easily, then you'll be making sure that you're building your chest right. Because one of the most important things is intensity. So you want to make sure that you're using a weight that's, you know, heavy enough but not too heavy. For example, for me, on incline barbell bench, if I do about 4 sets, I might pyramid down and do 10, 8, 6, and 6, right? So for the 10 reps, I'll probably do like 185 or something like that. For the 8 reps, I'll do like 205. And then for the 6 reps, I'll do 245-ish, you know, because that first set I can get all 6 reps. But then the last set, when I get those 6 reps, it's like sometimes I get 5, sometimes I get 6. So it's pushing myself enough, right? Because I don't have a lot of reps in reserve, right? So that's very important. And like I said, you want to prioritize your upper chest, because when you work your upper chest, you're also going to be working your lower chest. But when you work your lower chest, you're not always working your upper chest. All right, so it's important to prioritize your upper chest, because that's what's going to get your chest to fill out and look full when you take your shirt off. All right, trust me. Now, another thing you want to do is pre-exhaust. Pre-exhausting is really, really, really important, because you're going to fill your chest more. So anytime I give my clients a chest workout, I usually make them do cable flies or pec deck first, just because you'll actually feel your chest. So when you do the chest movements, you're not just feeling fucking elbows and rotator cuffs and shit. Because when I used to go incline barbell bench or flat barbell bench, I used to go for strength. All I felt was elbows, kidneys, fucking shoulders, front delt and shit like that, because I was just benching for strength. When I started pre-exhausting my chest by doing pec deck or cable flies, push-ups or dips, those are usually the movements I do first to pre-exhaust my chest, that's when I really started to feel the muscle. It's kind of similar to a warm-up sets, right? Get the blood flow in the muscle first. However, these are isolation movements, so they're definitely gonna hit your chest. For example, if you're gonna do incline split machine, if you're gonna do incline barbell and you warm up with the bar, yeah, you'll be warming up your chest pretty good, but it's not as good as doing like pec deck. So I usually do pec deck or cable flies, 4 sets to like 12 to 15, really get the blood flow in my chest. So by the time I get to the incline barbell or incline dumbbell, I can feel all chest, right? And then I get a really good blood flow in my chest, and then I'm squeezing and contracting, and I'm really isolating those muscles, all right? Another thing you wanna make sure you focus on is, of course, progressive overload. Now, with progressive overload is gonna come with consistency, and patience is gonna be a virtue as well. But if you're consistent, you're gonna add weight because, for example, when I first did incline bench, I was like, damn, 135 is kind of heavy, what the hell? After a couple of months of being consistent, 135 is way too light. I'm not touching that shit unless I'm warming up. Now I'm doing like 185. You see what I'm saying? So if you're consistent, you're gonna progressively overload. Now, like I said, we're going for aesthetics. So you don't want to only just focus on getting as strong as possible. You do want to add weight over time, of course, right? But you don't want to add so much weight that you're ego lifting and you're compromising form. Because remember this, if you compromise form and you ego lift, right? First of all, you're not gonna feel the muscle as much, but also if you get injured, now you can't do shit. When you're injured, you're fucking worthless, all right? You can't do what you need to do. So if you mess up your rotator cuff because you were trying to go heavy on incline or flat bench, you're trying to go too heavy, now you can't even work your chest. Now you got to sit out for 3 months, 6 months, however long it is, all right? So make sure that you're not ego lifting. You're picking a weight that's challenging, but not too challenging. You see what I'm saying? Like you want a weight that's challenging, but you don't want a weight that you can't do at all. Like you could get 2 reps and that's it. All right, we're not going for strength. We're not powerlifters. Now, if you guys want a video of how to get stronger, you really don't need a video. Just fucking lift. Like it's easy to get stronger on bench. To be honest, you just bench. But yeah, another thing is when it comes to shaping out your chest. So like I said, prioritize the upper chest. So for the upper chest, incline Smith, incline dumbbell, really important. For the lower outer, I would say dips and flat dumbbell are usually the best for your overall lower chest. And then of course cable flies is good for like the inner, if that's even a thing. If it is a thing, pec deck and cables are the best for inner. But I would also say body fat percentage. As a guy, a lot of you guys think you have gyno. You do not have gyno. You are simply at a high body fat percentage, which means you have man boobs. When I was 226, probably 20 to 25% body fat, somewhere in that range, my titties sat on my stomach. So I looked like, I didn't fucking lift and I looked like I had titties. Some people were like, do you have gyno? No, I don't have gyno. People see my transformation, they DM me, they're like, hey man, like how'd you get rid of your gyno? It's not gyno, it's just man boobs. If you're a guy and you're above like 18, 20% body fat, you're gonna have man boobs. That's normal, right? Once you get leaner, you're gonna stop storing so much fat down there. You're gonna lose fat down there, obviously, to reveal the muscle, and then your chest will sit more upright, and then it'll start to look more aesthetic. So a lot of you guys don't have gyno, you just have man boobs from literally just having a high body fat percentage. When you're eating the calorie deficit, you get closer to, once you built the muscle and everything, then you're eating the calorie deficit, you get closer to that 10%, 12% body fat range. That's when you'll start to see your chest shape out. For me, once I get to 8 to 10% body fat, that's when you start to see my chest really shape out, right? It doesn't look like just huge chest. Like if I get to 15% body fat, my upper chest will be huge, but my lower chest will be so big, it'll just look like lower and mid chest will be so massive. Look like I have double D's, right? I just have double fucking D's. Like, so body fat percentage is a big part of that as well. So make sure that you know that, and you do not have gyno, you just have man boobs. Lose fat and get rid of that shit, all right? Recapping this video, body fat percentage. When you get to low body fat, you'll see your chest pop out how you want it to. Progressive overload, obviously you want to add weight over time. You don't want to be doing, if you're trying to grow your upper chest and you start off doing 30-pound dumbbells on incline dumbbell, a year later, you don't want to be doing fucking 30 pounds. You're going to be doing like 60s, 70s, 80s, all right, in the same rep range. Pre-exhaustion, make sure you hit a isolation movement before you get into your full chest workout, very, very important. Prioritize your upper chest, of course, right? The incline Smith, the incline dumbbell, and then for your lower, flat dumbbell, some flat hammer strength press machine, shit like that, all right? And then remember that you gotta be patient, but also we're going for aesthetics, not just strength. Anyways, link is in the bio for coaching, link is in the bio for body gain program.